Shalom. So in this video, we're going to talk about the tree of life. But before we can get into the cosmic tree of life, let's first understand a natural tree, the nature of it. All right. So here, what you're seeing would be like the trunk area of the tree. All right, let me see if I can flip this camera. This would be like the trunk area of the tree. Now, these that you're seeing here are eyes. Eyes. This is kind of old. These are eyes. We call them buds. These are branches. And from the branches, there are leaves. What is the function of the leaves of the tree? The function is to suck from the roots the nutrients. So therefore, it produces the fruits. But this actually is poisonous. But back in the days, it used to be good for ringworms. I don't see people having ringworms anymore, but yes, when you have the ringworm, you cut it and you rub it, and the poison will burn out the bacteria from the ringworms. All right? So the root of the tree, it goes all the way down into the earth, and that part you cannot see. All the way down. So you know it's there, but you cannot see. So the source of life for the tree is the earth, just like the source of life for the fish is the waters. So it depends on the source of life here. So now that we understand how this functions, now that we understand how this operates, now we can go into the heavens. Now that we understand the nature of the tree, the natural tree, right? Let's get into the cosmic aspect of this tree, right? So the root you cannot see because it's beyond. So the constellations would be what? Would be the leaves of the tree. So the leaves represent knowledge. Knowledge takes information from its source and it goes out and fatten the earth. So this knowledge descends into the consciousness of man. And from there, men understand what to do and they teach their nation. So it goes to the prophets, the seers, and these people teach their nation. So knowledge is supreme to all men. Everyone gets their knowledge from there. Some depart from the wisdom and the instructions and the commands, but it's all up there. So you don't need to argue whether about Law of Ma'at is first, Egyptology, or Gilgamesh, or the Bible. All knowledge comes from there. But the heart of man departed from the instructions. Right? So the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nation. Now this tree bears its fruit every month. Now think carefully. What earthly tree do you know that bring forth fruit every month? None. It's only the cosmic tree. So every month is what? Every new moon, the constellations change. And that's the fruit that it brings forth every month. So there are different seasons, meaning Moedim, meaning feast days, festivals. So different appointments of the year. By observing the heavens, you will know exactly when to do what. The sun travels 4 cardinal points in the course of a year. So at the beginning cycle, you know, okay, that's spring. That's when we, as Hebrews, we would keep our Passover. The sun has to cross that center point of the heavens. right? When it comes to our harvest is summertime. That's going to be in the 4th month. So the sun is going to go to the most northern. The sun goes to the most northern point of the heavens, and that's where it gives all the energy out into the earth, and then you can harvest your fruits. So the heavens declare the appointed time for festivals in all cultures. So the moon would let you know the month that you're in. Okay, this time it's time to do this. This time it's time to do that. The sun doesn't tell you the month. The sun tells you the days and the years. So when it goes to the east, you know it's the beginning of the cycle. So you know the first day of the year and the last day of the year. And you know every single day. But to divide it into weeks and months, it's the moon that does that. Without the moon, you cannot know when a month end or start. And you cannot know what feast, when your feast starts. These things that we're looking at up there, these are appointments. These are instructions. And once we follow them, it fattens us. Just like the leaves suck from the root and fattens the tree. The knowledge, once we keep on taking that knowledge, it's going to fatten us. It's going to make us multiply. It's going to increase us. When you are contrary to it, it's going to be the opposite. So everything is embedded in the nature. The judgment is already in the nature. You do not have to judge a person for a certain action. The action itself will judge the person because it contains knowledge of morality. And once there is morality, there is judgment. We live in a world where people want to have morals but don't want to be judged. It's not other people judging you. The moral itself will do the judging. Now everything is created in two. Here's an example. You have an open land. There is nothing there. This is an open land. Now you build a house. You build a house. Now you build a house. Guess what? Now you go inside the house. You didn't build something called outside, but because of you building the house, now you're inside. There's by default something called outside. So this is likewise the nature of wisdom. From the standpoint of the human, or the concept of the human, it is considered as good and evil. So you create light, naturally, there's going to be darkness. So everything is created in two. So just like the sun and the moon and the constellations can give you instructions to do these things, when to keep your festivals, how to live, how to do this, how to do that, guess what? There's another side to it. The same moon you used to keep your Sabbaths, the same moon you used to know what month you are in, the same constellations you used to navigate the seas. Guess what? Those same things can show you how to do evil. In it contains the knowledge of evil. So the same tree of life is the same tree of knowledge, good and evil. It's not a separate tree. It's just like, for example, the same Bible that tells you, thou shalt not murder. What is it also telling you on a subtle level? If you should not do this, if you should not climb the tree, that means you can also climb the tree. So it's not something else telling you, it's the same thing, it's contained in the same thing. Everything was created in two, one against the other. Now, the thing about wisdom is we all want wisdom, but we do not want to go through what we need to go through for wisdom to dwell with us or to abide with us. Before you can trust wisdom, wisdom first has to trust you. So that very same wisdom is going to take you on a path very crooked. That crooked serpent, wisdom is going to take you on that path. It's going to inflict fear into you. It's going to inflict dread into you to see how much you trust her. And when you go through what you're going through and cross over, then wisdom realizes that, okay, she can trust you. And through your discipline, she will abide with you. Wisdom carries two nature. Now, once you obey or follow the conscious path, or once you follow the instructions, the commands from wisdom, it itself will give you the blessings for your discipline, for your morality. And what you'll reap from that tree is immortality. Not immortality in the Western concept that you are not going to die. Immortality is righteousness. That is the fruit that you get from the tree of life. Righteousness. That is the fruit it produces. Fruit is something that is produced. Righteousness is immortality. So once you understand the nature of the heavens and the nature of your own existence, you'll see that there's a mirror. There's a mirror because inside you there's also a tree of life. What is the tree inside of you? What is the one thing that is infinite? Your spirit. The spirit itself is immeasurable, it's unlimited. What are the branches? The branches are this vessel, the body, the mind, the intellect, the ego, the memory. These are different layers of our existence. But they all depend on the root, which is the spirit inside of us. That spirit enlivens this body. Through the different organs, seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, smelling, we interact with the world outside. We gravitate to all these different objects. This is why I was saying earlier, on the tree, these little things are buds. They are thoughts, not yet expressed. But once it interacts with the object, it creates an attachment. And this is why the mind continually goes out to things out there. That's the nature of the mind. The intellect is what discerns. The intellect tells you that this is a goat, this is a cow, this is a car, this is a bike. It discerns. So the mind pulls the information, it perceives the information, but the intellect discerns. The memory is where information is stored. So things very long ago might be in the unconscious. Recently, subconscious. And present is right now, the conscious. As you take in the information, it goes automatically to the memory. That's why afterwards you can go back and start to recall everything, and that's when you get to do the discerning process. You're going through filtering. Okay, this part of the information I need, this part I don't want, that goes over there, right? That processing process always takes place after with the stored information. Now, we understand these different layers of our existence. It's one existence, but different branches. Now, the thoughts, this is where the problem is. Just like I mentioned about the buds, they are there, just waiting to sprout. Likewise, we have thoughts. It's like latent action, unexpressed. Now, these thoughts go out into the world and create attachment to the objects. So you look at something, oh, it's beautiful, you form an attachment, and now through desire, you want to go out there and grab hold of it. Desire always want to possess. Oh, the tree is pleasurable, it's pleasant to the sight, it's desirable. I want to possess that knowledge. I want to possess that wisdom. Oh, he's 6 foot. I want to possess this guy. Oh, she's a shorty looking fine. I want to possess her. I want her. Now you went out with your woman, your wife. You saw that beautiful woman out there. Guess what? You want to possess her. Now you go back home, you're mad at your wife. For what reason? Once you got a glimpse of her, you weren't staring, you weren't looking. So it's not about controlling the eyes. The eyes are just sense organs. You don't need to control them. It is the mind goes out and attach itself to these things. So now you go back home, guess what? You're mad at your wife. She didn't do anything. But just because she was the obstacle to your desire, so you couldn't get to talk to that woman. So that desire turns to anger. You're now angry at the obstacle, which is your wife. Or you and your husband go out, you see this fine looking man that you wanted to talk to, you wanted to put yourself in his way. Maybe you drop your glasses for him to pick up, maybe you drop something that he would pick up and bring it to you to break words. But because your husband is there, you couldn't get to do it. And you weren't steering, but your mind. So half of the time you're talking to your husband, you're even missing out on the conversation because your mind is there. So you don't need to control the eyes. It's the mind that needs to return to its source. The nose, you smell that hot wings. You just had dinner. You're full, but you're smelling that hot wings. Now you want to possess it. Oh, can I get just one piece of that chicken? Oh, you're hearing these sweet words. The guy come telling you all these sweet words. The woman comes, she's talking all these sweet words, sound, high in wisdom. You want to possess her. Oh, I want a relationship with her. I want a relationship with him. So, through the senses, we perceive the world outside, but the mind grabs hold of these things. It's called attachment. It's called desire. Turn the attention of the mind around to the spirit. So both together, both the mind and the spirit can channel itself to go to the source of that spirit. Goes to the Most High. You worship Him in spirit and in truth. So once you get to that point, you cross over. You're no longer bounded by the sense organs. You're having dominion over your own nature. Your mind doesn't need to run away. When you see a beautiful woman, you don't have to look away. You can be looking at her, staring, with no thought of possessing her. You can be looking at that man with no thought of possessing him. And you and your wife, you and your husband go back home peacefully. The mind is not trying to escape through your eyes, through your ears, through your nose, through your tongue, through your skin. It is under the dominion of your spirit, of your consciousness, of your awareness. And you keep channeling your attention to the Most High, to that which is greater than yourself. Now the flames of your spirit, that fire, that burning fire of your spirit, is now merging into oneness with that supreme fire, that consuming fire of the Most High.